Hello everyone, this is Yasser Al-Hindi. I am presenting the public engagement design for sharing economy regulation and governance for the state of Arizona. As on the one hand, there is rapid development of digital platforms in the sharing economy in different sectors. On the other hand, there is a very slow adaptation from regulation side. So to what extent should space be given for self-regulation versus traditional oversight? And with a focus on investigating the influence of the inclusivity and accessibility of such platforms at the local level in Arizona. Therefore, I am designing a public engagement strategy to tackle the issue, and my public audience are categorized as follows. The broader public are the residents of Arizona State, the stakeholders, and the decision makers. I'm going to elaborate about them in the next slide. The public community are basically people who own an asset which is in use or can be used in the sharing economy. In order to reach for a public participation and expression of public views and values, the first step is going to be problem and issues framing by the target decision making audience. The stakeholder are listed here as policymakers, advocates, innovation hubs, startups and corporations, and academics. Why it's important? For each one of them, there are different reasons and different value proposition. For example, for cities and states officials, with the booming in usability, the different applications from a location to another, there is a more need for input to inform the decision making. For advocates and labor unions, there is a more need to protect labor and consumer rights and to inform about those priorities for industries and decision makers. As for innovation hubs, these spaces where those digital platforms are created to begin with. So it's going to be the awareness side, and it could have a huge difference in implementation and scaling at later stages with entrepreneurs and startups. And coming to startups and corporations, they want to stay in business and doing the right thing for people. As for academics, there is a more need for data and analysis also to understand and have a prediction of the future of sharing economy. Through the deliberation, two more target decision making audience have been recommended, which are the local chamber of commerce and students, and both of them because of their influence to the shaping of the future of sharing economy. Deliberation took place by those different stakeholders resulted in some contested opinions, in particular, for example, the theme about people's and cities' goals and trade-off. From an entrepreneurial perspective, the inclination is to remove all antiquated laws that are not adapting to the dynamic scene and provide more new sets of policymakers. On the other side, the city officials they are emphasizing the importance of working side by side with public members to understand further how regulations can provide for the public good. In addition to that, there were some emerging themes during the discussion. For example, longevity and insurance security is one of the major things that haven't been decided upon yet for the sharing economy, and having, for example, options like 401k retirement plans and saving plans, which is all crucial for the future and sustainability of this sector. In addition to the need for hybrid models, which is basically there is neither the self-regulation nor the traditional oversight can solve alone the issues, where there is a need for the middle ground to find out more innovative solutions. Aiming at reconciling the demand for and supply of public engagement, the deliberation from stakeholders fleshed out that public engagement design in terms of key activities, partners, and resources. In particular, in the design part, which is bringing the different voices and showcase local voices, city officials, and companies. In the deliberation, discussing mainly the emerging new themes, as have been explained in the previous slide, and at the dissemination, it's going to have a product which is going to be educational for both entrepreneurs as well cities and state officials. How this can happen through key partners such as municipalities who are going to engage more people in decision making through how can policies be updated questions, in addition to community-based organization advocates and labor unions who are going to support facilitating and reaching out to the right representation of the public through their expertise, databases, connections, and programs, as well public policy departments and rideshare companies who have access to data, reports, and predictions of the public use of sharing economy, in addition to makerspaces who are going to provide facilities that can help in workshops with experts and public to have tangible educational kit. In addition to pre and post forum surveys, qualitative and quantitative deliberation results, those are going to be the major outputs and outcomes of the engagement. Producing a short comprehensive video with a focus on both producers and consumers of the sharing economy, facilitating more spaces and partnerships between policymakers and the public in dialogues and coming up with co-solutions. The number of publications are going to be results of the public engagement outcomes, in addition to producing simple and effective educational material for potential startups to have more awareness of the societal and technological issues around the sharing economy. And here's the rest and complete public engagement design canvas. It was insightful through the expert deliberation to see some aspects of this topic as downstream to move towards the questions of midstream and development, if we should, then how, in particular related to AI and machine learning control over people control. I would like to acknowledge there were some limitations due to mainly the absence of the city officials during interviews, and they came later at the web product engagement. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for contributing into expanding my knowledge to public engagement design and your feedback, comments, and support all the way in the course.